Everybody, welcome to the Growing Leadership blog. This is blog number 13, and today is Friday, and it's Leadership Game Friday. But it's also today, September 11th. So I want to take a moment and just reflect back on the time that was 19 years. It's hard to believe, 19 years. And the big question we'd always ask, where were you when Pearl Harbor hit? Where were you when John F. Kennedy was assassinated? Martin Luther King? Where were you when 9/11 happened? And I was working out at Gowan Field as an advisor to the military, to the Army National Guard at that time, as a coach, teach, mentor. And I was getting ready to go to work. I went out and got in the car, in fact, and started headed in the Gowan Field, heard the news on the radio, turned around, came back home, and then was able to watch the horrors kind of unfold on TV throughout the day. So reflecting back on that, huge loss of life, huge loss of sacrifice by people and that followed the first responders, and then the years following that, the military. So salute out to all of those that gave their all that day to save their fellow humans. But now we're going to talk about leadership game. Okay. So leadership game, if you're not familiar with it, this is one of the tools I use when I go into a company to help do a deep dive to understand what's going on in relationships, what's working, what's not working within that organization. And what I've learned is that I can ask these questions, but they don't respond to me the same way as they do when they're playing the game, and they respond to each other across the game board. So what it's designed around is a set of playing cards that are all different colors. I like this one. That's actually green. On a green screen, it doesn't show up, does it? But you got your different colored cards, and with the roll of the dice, it decides what color you're going to draw. And then each of the players who roll the dice pulls a card and then plays the card by reading it aloud to the group and then responding to the card or responding to the group or asking questions based on the information provided. Now, I have 4 different games. I have the leadership game, I have the communications game, the sales game, and the leadership game for teens. And I played all of them. And the sales one and the communication ones are a couple of my favorite because they're really good at creating growth within an organization, a company, as they learn to interact with each other. I also love the team one too. That was fun to do the team one with the Order of the Arrow a few years ago for the Boy Scouts of America. So here's what we're going to do. It's Friday, and I'm going to roll the dice, and I'm going to draw a card, and we're going to see what I've got. Okay, and then I'm going to try my best to respond to the card for you. So here we go. We got the dice. We roll it, and we got a gold card. It came up black, so we got a gold card. So I'll hold this up here. So this is a gold card, and this is what it says on the other side. It's worth 3 points, and I got to put my glasses on to read it. Here we go. Explain why you chose the recipient of this card. It's 3 points. The law of sacrifice. A leader must give up to go up. Give this gold card to the participant who is most willing to sacrifice today for tomorrow's success. And that comes from the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, chapter number 18. Now, that's a card that I obviously can't play here, but if I was at the board I had a group of maybe 10 employees around the table and that card was pulled, this was a way for one of the players at the table to give bonus points to someone else at the table and also explain why they think they're willing to sacrifice today for tomorrow. That is a conversation generator right there. Now, we'll go to the rest of the stack. We got the rest of the stack here, so we're going to roll again. And, we came up yellow. So we're going to pull an organization card. Now, here's what that looks like. That's an organization card. And on this side, again, is the description what to do. First of all, it says, use your sticky notepad to record your answer to the following question or statement. The law of intentionality. Growth doesn't just happen. And oh, by the way, everybody, if you want to play along, go over to the comment sections and add your comments, your thoughts to this question, okay? The law of intentionality. Growth doesn't just happen. Fear plays a major factor in sales and success. Which of the following 5 fears do you think inhibit you and your team the most? Number 1, fear of failure. Number 2, fear of trading security for the unknown. Number 3, fear of being overextended financially. Number 4, fear of what others will say or think. And number 5, fear that success will alienate peers. And that comes out of the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth, Chapter 1. Good question, because that's one that I think that we all have to hunt ourselves. We look ourselves in the mirror at night. Is fear? What is the fear that's holding us back? What fear keeps us from being able to go forward? I would say number 4 is a fear of what others will say or think. It's kind of like doing this blog. What everybody's going to tune in. They're going to go, that guy's an idiot. Shut him off. And then people unsubscribe from your newsletter or from your email. Oh, man, what do they think? And this can run around a circle around you where you undermine how you think. The other one I noticed is when I started was the fear of being seen starting small. That's another fear. That's part of that is what other people think. It's the fear of being seen starting small. My first speaking gig, I had one person in the audience. And it was like, and worst of all, so I'm up on the stage giving that presentation to one person in the audience, and people, and it was at a venue where there was a big glass window at the back of the venue of the conference room, and people I knew walked up and were standing outside the conference room, kind of looking in, going, "What's he doing in there?" Nobody's in there, and that's tough when you're standing on the stage and you're like, "Oh man, this is tough, man. This is tough. I'm being seen, starting small." But then you keep growing. You keep adding 2, 3, 4, 10 people. The next thing you know, you're being flown around the country. You're out in, at an Air Force base in Wyoming talking to over 400 people from the stage. And then you're on platforms where you've been asked to invited in and speak. And there's 20,000 people that have tuned in to that event. So yeah, you got to start small. You got to start, and you can't be afraid of that. Just start. And even if you stay small for a while, that would be my response to, don't be afraid of staying small, because you're going to continue to grow. You're going to get better. You're going to go for the bigger dream, but you got to start with the first step. All right. That was the card for the day. All right. So imagine that. I want you to think about that for a minute. If you were in your company with your organization, you were sitting around the table and you had to respond to that question, either as a boss or an employee, how that begins to generate a connection between everybody at the table. Because I would be able to say that, what I just talked about, and then let's open that up to the table and hear what everybody else's fears are right now of their success. So if you're interested in learning more about the leadership game, find a John Maxwell team person in your area, anywhere, wherever you're at, hunt them down and ask them about the leadership game. Or if you want to have me come in, I can do that from either in Zoom. I've done the game over Zoom, and I've done it in person. It works both ways. In fact, it's very powerful over a Zoom or a network or online event. So again, this is Marshall Townsend with the Growing Leadership blog. This was number 13 today, Leadership Game Friday. We're going into the weekend. Everybody have a great weekend. Oh, by the way, tonight at 5 p.m., I'm doing chapter 2 of my Mark Your Ball series called Leadership and Learning. And it's the foundational principle behind everything that I teach and train, but it's also the foundation of the book, Mark Your Ball, getting yourself off the driving range and out onto the course, out into life. All right. Thanks a lot. Have a good day now.